See, the problem that people do is you get in God's way. You tell God what you want, then you mess up and tell him how you want him to do it. All you got to do is write down what you want. Because the scripture says this, write the vision and make it plain, so that he who reads it will run to it. And even though it take a long time, wait for it. For surely it will come at an appointed time. You got to keep the faith. It's going to happen. See, my first vision board I wrote when I was 10, I wrote, I want to be on TV. I read it. I flunked out of school. I've been living in a car for 3 years, but I kept reading my paper. Guess what? I'm on TV. Now, I wrote it at 10. I did not get on TV till I was 38. I'm telling you this, how this works. Success ain't a magic trick. It's a set of principles. People in here way smarter than me. People in here got way more degrees than me. The Bible says a man without a dream or vision shall perish. So guess what? You can't out-vision me. Don't let nobody out-dream you, and don't let nobody outwork you. That's how you get the life of your dreams. I bet you if you write it down. God don't say nothing he don't make true. This world gonna end one day. You ain't gotta believe that. You can say it ain't no God. But guess what? The sun come up tomorrow. You can't stop it. It go down in the evening. You can't shut it off. Go up there and stop the wind. See what happened to you. Go up there and cut that sun off. See what happened. You're going to roast your ass like a nut.
All the circumstances say, if it was going to happen, it would have happened by now. But what God promised you doesn't have an expiration date. You may have done things that should keep your dream from coming to pass. But God is so merciful, he's already taken your mistakes into account. But too often, we disqualify ourselves. We think it would have happened if I'd finished school, if I'd not got involved with the wrong crowd, then God would bless me. That would be true if God was like us. He is full of mercy. He doesn't cancel our destiny because we got off course. And the good news is God has mercy for every mistake, a comeback for every setback. What he's promised you is still on the way. It may seem unlikely. You may not see how you could ever get out of debt. God is saying increase is coming. What you touch will prosper and succeed. Quit believing the lies that it's too late. The problem is too big. God is called the author and the finisher of your faith. The delay doesn't mean it's not going to happen. The circumstances may look impossible, but God hasn't run out of options. He has ways we've never thought of. He's not limited by your job, by what you didn't get. One good break and what he promised you will come to pass. Sometimes God will put promises in your heart that don't make sense to your mind. The key is to let the seed take root. You don't have to figure out how it's going to happen. All you have to do is believe. You may have delayed it, but you didn't deny it. God hasn't changed his mind. You may not see anything happening, but God is still working. What he promised you is still on the way. The enemy is called the accuser of the brethren. He'll remind you of everything you've done wrong. He'd love for you to go through life down on yourself, no dreams, no passion, no expectancy. Don't fall into that trap. Are you believing lies that you missed your chance? If you'd have been more disciplined, God already knew about that. What he promised you is right on schedule. You didn't miss it. It's still in your future. Now, you may have failed, but you are not a failure. Failure is an event. It's not who you are. What you do may not always be good, but you are good. You may have gotten off course. You may have brought the trouble on yourself, but God is saying, I'm still going to bless you. I'm still going to use you to help others. You're still going to fulfill your destiny. What I promised you is still on the way. Those dreams you've given up on, they're on the way. I don't see anything happening right now, but God, I know you are working behind the scenes. What you promised me is still right on schedule. You may feel like you're lacking in some area, lacking talent, lacking support, but God knows what you don't have. He knows who's not for you. The good news is God is going to make up for what you don't have. He's going to give you the seed. And sometimes on purpose, God will let you run out of what you need, so you'll have to depend on Him. If you don't turn my child around, if you don't open this door, if you don't heal my body, God, then I'm done. When you come to the end of your ability, then there's room for God's favor. There's room for Him to show out in your life. Don't let the circumstances fool you. Don't let what you don't have talk you out of it. The delays, the seasons of silence convince you that it's never going to happen. He's going to bless you in spite of your mistakes. He's going to make things happen that you didn't deserve. It's just the goodness of God. And I'm all for taking risks, getting out of our comfort zones, but it's important to stay in God's timing. Quit believing those lies that you can't accomplish your dreams. Look what you've done. Never get out of debt. You've made too many poor choices. What God promised you is still on the way. It's still on the schedule. Start believing again. Start making plans for what you've given up on.
You've got to keep dreaming. Your better future is a dream for yourself and for your family. You've got to dream dreams. There's a Bible phrase that says, without dreams and visions, people perish.
You have a strong sense of self, that gives your life a sense of purpose. Your life has a sense of purpose, that gives your life a sense of direction. The 40-40 plan is gone, where you can go to college, graduate, get a job, work 40 hours a week, doing the same thing for 40 years. That's gone. People that are hungry are uncommon people. They are saying yes to their dreams. People that are hungry have a vision of themselves when they leave here, leaving a legacy and not liabilities. Most people die at age 25 and don't get buried till they're 60 because they're not willing to take a chance on themselves. I said, God, let me touch and change millions of people's lives. Let me make my mark. Let me touch hearts and minds. Let me be an instrument to give people hope, to inspire them to expand their skill set. God, let me live a life that counts. God, help me live a life that matters. God, give me the stamina and the vision to use my gift that you have given me to work with people who are hungry to make their lives count. Mother's dream was to raise 7 children she didn't have. She never went to school. She's a hard worker and she had faith. I remember the first home I bought her. I said, Mama, how you like that? She said, if I lived in something like that, I would feel like Mrs. Rohn. I purchased the home and I said, Mama, I think I know the people who live there. So I'm going to stop in and say hello. She looked at how beautiful this house was. She said, Leslie, you sure you know these people? And we got to the door. I reached in my pocket, I took the key out, and I put it in the door. I said, Mrs. Rockefeller, this is your home. This is going to happen for you. It's already happened for some of you.
No matter how long you nurse a grudge, it won't get better. You can have a grudge against life. You can have a grudge against circumstances that you were placed in that are so unfair. You can have a grudge against all kinds of things. And if you're not careful, you'll begin to nurse that grudge. And you'll begin to develop a bad report. This is no time, the time that we're living in, this is no time to nurse it, rehearse it, and disperse it. This is a time to reverse it.
Assuming that you have a certain intrinsic value, and that it's necessary for that value to manifest itself, for you to push yourself against the world, to challenge yourself, because otherwise what you're capable of won't manifest itself. It has to be developed. It has to be called forth by necessity, right? You have to pick a hard problem and try to solve it and push yourself against it and you have to try to do that truthfully and responsibly in order for what it is that you're intrinsically capable of and composed of to come to the forefront, and also to point out that you have a moral responsibility to do so for yourself just as you do for others.
You never allow yourself to say the words, I'm out of moves. You're never out of moves. You're never out of options, right? There is always something else that you can do. Avoid a mortality event. The name of the game is to stay in business long enough to figure it out. It is very okay to not know what you're doing right now. It is very much not okay to stand still. The only wrong move in life ever is standing still. Indecision will kill you. Mistakes will not.
Sometimes you're happy, and sometimes you're sad. Now that's that thing called life. And when we begin to understand and know that, accepting that reality that we will never ever have things just on an even keel all the time, that you're going to have some ups and you're going to have some downs. But during those down moments, that's where the growth takes place. That's where the work is.
Those steps for success, they're infinite. They are infinite. You cannot count them. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. Those steps are constantly shifting. You don't know if they're there. Sometimes you have to trust that the next step is going to be there when you can't even see it. And sometimes when you step on that step, you go right into quicksand. You got to be able to pull yourself back out of it again. So everybody's looking for these steps, and there are no steps. Those steps never end.
Never lose yourself on the way to the top. Wow, what amazing advice for you and me. Never lose yourself on the way to the top. To thine own self be true. Never betray your authenticity. Never lose your boots on the groundedness. And so to thine self be true means as you make your rise to legendary, don't forget what makes you great. Hard work, humility, working on your craft, playing the long game, understanding the genius takes decades versus good genetics.
To find your way in life is not an external search, it's an internal search. Listen to me, man. You have a great life in front of you. But your great life is in front of you. It's not behind you. What you did back there ain't got nothing to do with what God got for you. What you did back there was learn the lessons to get you to where you are at this particular moment right here. But what God got for you, do you know, man, that you can actually mess your life completely up? You can jack it all the way up, and you can turn around and get it right.
See, but the real challenge of growth, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, comes when you get knocked down. Somebody said that adversity introduces a man to himself or a woman. How you handle it, that's where the growth takes place.
What do you want to do? What do you want to get great at? Because if you apply yourself, even if you're not good yet, you can get good. How do I know that? Because you're the average human. And the average human is the ultimate adaptation machine. This is all about disciplined, focused energy into acquiring a skill set. It's what I call the only belief that matters.
You can jack your life all the way up. God is in the forgiving business. You can make all the mistakes you want to make or think you shouldn't make. God is in the get it together business. If you got dreams and visions, I got news for you. God is in the make your dream come true business. He did it for me. How he won't do it for you?
Find the love of my life. I want to be a world-class creative. I want to multiply my financial life. Where do I start? You just start. You just start. There's great power in the start.
I'm bigger than this. Make a declaration to yourself. Declare all out war that you're going to get out of this rut. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how talented you are. I don't care how much you work on yourself. There's some times when things aren't going to go right. They just are not going to go right. There are times when anything that can happen will happen. Murphy's Law will be knocking at your door. Why? I don't know why. That's called life. To you that if you are facing a challenge, don't stop. Stay busy. Work your plan. Continue to do those things that you know that work for you. Continue to move. Stay busy, stay busy, stay busy.
Your days are the pockets and instruments of genius. Get those right, your life will take care of itself.